Today we're going to be talking about Serum and their part in building the Solana ecosystem and some magical stuff. So Ed and Adrian, when Serum started building, what gave you guys the confidence to build on Solana?
Thanks, Maz. Yeah, happy to take this one. Ed, if you're okay with that, I think.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think. So going back to when was it? August last year. I wasn't personally working for Serum at the time, but I was watching from a distance. We were sort of right in the middle of DeFi summer on Ethereum, and composability was pretty topical. So choosing Solana was actually quite a controversial decision. In some ways it didn't make sense to a lot of folks, but there were a lot of conversations with the Solana team, and in the end the thought leadership and design of Serum came from a group of people that really understood financial markets and understood that the bigger picture of what they were building wouldn't work if it had to be divided on layer 2 or layer 3 of say like Ethereum, for example. So yeah, from my understanding, like the mandate for Serum was really two things. It was fast block times and built on layer 1. And so yeah, in order to like compete with the UX of other financial applications, it needed to be fast. And so from that perspective, the 400 millisecond block times on Solana made a lot of sense. And yeah, at the same time, in order to make the most of DeFi's biggest advantage, it also needed to be composable with other apps, and yeah, needed to be integrated as easy as possible to integrate with other apps, which is why building it all on layer 1 was also super important.
Yeah, that's awesome. I had a quick question there. I think from hearing some podcasts from Sam, you guys actually built Serum initially on Ethereum and then realized that building a matching engine on Ethereum is practically impossible, right?
Yeah, so the way the story goes is because Adrian and I got involved a bit later, but with the original team, including Sam and his team, the original hope was to basically participate in DeFi Summer and, in his own words, build something cool. And what could a cool thing be? Well, how about an order book? Because that was sort of that is the holy grail for, TradFi people trying to come into DeFi and make it a real, kind of global force. Right? The order book is like the gold standard for price discovery, and the ideal kind of market structure you'd want to be there. So they try to build an order book. They're not the first team to try this on Ethereum, of course, but they try to build it on Ethereum. They immediately hit these roadblocks, right? The composability, not the composability, the throughput, just is simply is not there. And when you're talking about like 10 transactions per second or whatever, it's just infinite pain for them, and they quickly gave up on that idea. Then they tried to build some other stuff like an arbitrage finder or a few other things. And again, they kept running into these issues of like this thing can't scale, and it's not obvious like if you know it made them start reflecting on first principles, right? And really reflecting on like, okay, is Ethereum really even the place to be? And it's only coincidental that when they were trying to do this, they had already known the Solana team for some time, if I'm not mistaken. So it wasn't like they started reaching out for other chains and like, oh my God, where can we build our order book? It's more like they had already been in talks with Anatoly, and they're like, okay, let's rethink this from these first principles and let's try building it on Solana, because you need that throughput, you need that scalability if you want to, make a serious project and not just some kind of hobby horse thing.
Yeah, 100%. And I think from our perspective, we're also super glad that you guys, I think, made that decision and were one of the first projects on Solana, and I think brought a lot of legitimacy to it. And to be honest, Serum was probably one of the biggest reasons why we actually chose Solana to build on, because for derivatives, it makes a lot of sense to actually build out order books and have price discovery, as you mentioned. And so back in March of this year, I think we copped a lot of flack for choosing Solana initially because it was a bit more unknown. There was maybe only Radium had actually launched, and there was pretty much nothing. Oh, Radium and Serum pretty much were the only ones that were out there. And yeah, we definitely got a lot of pushback from people like, hey, why aren't you building on Ethereum L2 and all these other different chains? But I think that bet definitely pulled through for everyone here.
I'm glad you guys stuck to your guns. I mean, yeah, back in those days, like everyone remembers the legendary tweet by Sam to that other guy, where Sam just said, you know, like I don't care if you want to short this, like I will buy all your Solana for $3 now. Kindly f off. And that was that was immortalized. But yeah, you know, thank you guys for your commitment. Again, like these cultural things, I guess we're sort of, you know, pushing the frontier and really making a statement. And I guess that makes us both trailblazers and also proper hipsters. So thank you.